Marvel's fans, assemble! Let's get ready for the ultimate MCU showdown. We're embarking on an epic quest to determine the greatest film in the Infinity Saga. That's right, we're taking on all 23 films from Iron Man to Avengers Endgame in a bracket-style tournament. But this isn't just a simple ranking, it's a battle for cinematic glory. Each film will go head-to-head, facing intense scrutiny and passionate debate. Here's how we'll break it down. Round 1 is going to be scene, line, and action with a personal touch. We'll dive deep into each film, dissecting its most unforgettable scenes, powerful lines, and adrenaline-pumping action sequences. And then we'll share our personal connections, nostalgic memories, and what truly makes these moments stand out. Then round 2, that's the final verdict. We asked our esteemed judge, Gemini, weigh the evidence, consider the arguments, and declare a winner for each matchup. Prepare for shocking upsets, nail-biting decisions, and a journey through the most iconic moments of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Only one film will emerge victorious, claiming the title of the best in the Infinity Saga. This is the ultimate test. This is the Infinity Gauntlet of movie debates. Let the tournament continue. All right, Benoit, let's talk, let's chat, let's recap just a smidge. So far, heading into the second round. So, right now, getting a bye to the second round, we had Avengers Endgame. Joining Avengers Endgame in the second round, thus far, we have Avengers Infinity War, Captain America Civil War, and Black Panther, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and Spider-Man Homecoming. It's really been a battle.
Ooh.
This second round is going to be a terror. Cannot wait. But tonight's combatants, Benoit Pahoud, we have the number 5 ranked Avengers going against the number 20th ranked Iron Man 2. And then we have the number 9 ranked Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 going against the number 16th ranked Avengers Age of Ultron. Byrne, I would love to get into the first round of the first matchup, but I cannot. On good conscience, I cannot.
No, you can't.
Until we take care of something. Do you know what that something is?
That's something, Matt, is the tale of the tape.
Beautiful stuff. All right, let's get ready for a superhero showdown. Here's the tale of the tape for the Avengers vs. Iron Man 2. Release date. The Avengers release date, May 4th, 2012. Byrne, I believe we saw this in theaters together, correct?
We did, Matt. We did. We saw it on the Broad Street Temple Theater.
Yep. Iron Man 2, May 7th, 2010. So almost 2 years earlier to the day. Runtime, Avengers runtime, 2 hours, 23 minutes. Iron Man 2 runtime, 2 hours and 5 minutes. Film budget, Avengers, we're looking at $220 million. And then for Iron Man 2, we're looking at $200 million. Okay. Opening weekend box office gross. So for Iron Man 2, it was $128.1 million. Opening weekend box office gross. Not surprising. Iron Man 1 was a smash. And then also they got Mickey Rourke in the second one. And also Sam, or what's his name? Oh, fuck, I'm blanking. Sam
Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell. Yep. Fan of the show, listener to the show. And then for opening weekend box office gross for the Avengers was $207.4 million. Worldwide box office gross for Iron Man 2, $623.9 million.
Oof.
Good showing. For Avengers, we're looking at $1.519 billion doll hairs.
Ooh, billion and a half. Billion a hook right there.
Man. Oh yeah. And then I would like to see if this was the first MCU Infinity Saga movie to hit $1 billion. I think it might be.
I would have to imagine it was, because everything before this was, we had the 2 Iron Mans, Captain America, Thor, and the Hulk. So I would imagine this is the first one to hit $1 billion.
Yeah, and then phase two was like billion here, billion there, billion
Yeah, it was
everywhere.
pretty much billions after that.
And then phase three was fucking billions all over everything. Yeah, but no. So the directors for Iron Man 2, it's a return of Jean Favreau. Fucking love that guy. Really a
The
hero of
best.
mine. Would love to have him on the show whenever he's ready. And
Fan of the
then
show. Listen to the show.
fan of the show, listener of the show. And then the director for the Avengers is the now canceled, I guess, right, Bern? Josh Whedon.
I believe so. I think he's out. I think
What a
he's out.
shame. I mean, I don't know what he did, and I guess it's not great, but God, was Avengers awesome. Whedon was the hottest director in Hollywood after that movie came out. Everybody wanted Whedon's dick in their mouth. Amen. Amen,
Well,
bro.
not everybody, because that's a lot of what led to him getting canceled.
Oh, okay. I guess not everybody. So, all right. Well, Burn, that was the tale of the tape for Iron Man 2 versus the Avengers. Are you ready to head to round one?
Can't wait, Maddie. Let's do it.
Very good. Round one. Fight! All right, Burn, since I went first and second last week, I'll let you go first this time. What do you say?
Sounds like a plan, Maddie.
Take it away, Daddy.
I will be defending the Avengers, the first culmination of the culmination of phase one of the MCU. As I said before, we had two Iron Man movies, an Incredible Hulk movie, a Captain America movie, and a Thor movie, all of them except for the Iron Man sequel being origin stories. And this is the one that brought the whole gang together. Now, we had Hawkeye introduced in the Thor movie and Black Widow introduced in Iron Man 2, but we didn't get to see either one of them really live up to their full potential until the Avengers. Also, while we did have a first glimpse of Tom Hiddleston's Loki, this is the one that really cements him as one of the best villains slash anti-heroes in the entire MCU, a role that he will continue to play throughout the entire Infinity Saga and even beyond to unbelievable accuracy and
Yeah.
aplomb. Um, I mean, there was a lot of decent lines for this movie. Obviously, Ruffalo, the newly hulked Ruffalo's, well, my secret is I'm always mad, jumps to line first. But the best line of this movie is during an argument on the helicarrier between Steve Rogers and Tony Stark. When Loki's staff is starting to get them all jittery, all angry with each other, Captain America looks at Iron Man and says, "Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off. What are you?" And Tony Stark says, "Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist." Perfectly encompassing who Tony Stark is. He has an answer for everything, and he's kind of telling the truth.
Yeah.
I think the best action scene in this movie is pretty difficult to argue with. It's the Battle of New York. You get to see every single character show their merit, from Black Widows on the ground, just kind of like, I'm just going to snap necks and cash checks. I got a revolver. I got some electricity. I got to fight some guys on the ground. Thor's bringing lightning down. Captain America is saving people in a bank from terrorists, from aliens. Hulk is straight up smashing giant space worms. And Hawkeye's shooting some arrows. In that scene, we do get to see the incredible sacrifice Tony Stark is willing to make by taking the nuke up through the wormhole, which really sets the entire stage for his PTSD, really for all of Iron Man 3 and his concerns about the universe going forward. And my favorite scene in the movie is after the Battle of New York, where Hulk grabs Loki by the ankles and
So
can
good.
just picks him up and whips him like a wet towel, smashing him over and over and over again to concrete. Maddie, you and I were in the theaters together for that. The place went ape shit at
Absolutely.
that
Blew the
scene,
roof off.
blew the roof off.
Yeah.
So that is my best line, best action sequence, and best scene from the Avengers.
Dude, great stuff. I mean, you're not wrong. Dude, another one for best line could be Hulk. smash when Cap says that.
Hmm.
So that was so just but that's what you wanted, and I think that's what Josh Whedon he wanted the awesome, and because this movie was just fucking awesome. Also, you got a little taste of the battles of who would win because you got a Thor versus
Thor
Thor
versus
versus
Hulk.
Iron Man, Thor versus Hulk. You got you got a couple of them. Also, you are so right. Hiddleston owns Loki. There's no one else that can play
Nope.
Loki.
Nope. I
No
never
one.
want to see
Hiddleston
anyone else even try it. He's so good.
that and honestly, I mean, he crushed it. But yeah, great stuff. So you're right, Bern. Very good. And as always, we're not competing, but some nuts on your chin for old time's sake. So all
Sure.
right, let's power up the arc react or the arc reactor once more for a look at Iron Man 2. So, pinpointing the absolute best scene in Iron Man 2 can be subjective, but a strong contender is the confrontation between Tony Stark and Justin Hammer at the Stark Expo, leading the unveiling of Hammer's drones and Whiplash's remote takeover. This scene is pivotal, as it showcases the culmination of Hammer's jealousy and his misguided attempt to surpass Stark's technology. The dramatic reveal of the weaponized drones, followed by the shocking portrayal of Whiplash's sinister control over them, raises the stakes significantly and sets up the film's final act. It's a moment of public humiliation and genuine threat that highlights Tony's vulnerability despite his technological prowess. And then, as for the best line, a memorable and character defining one is Tony Stark's sarcastic retort to the government official during the Senate hearing: I am Iron Man. It's just while it's a callback to the first film and then will also be pretty big in a later film, in
Hmm.
in this context it serves as a definite and unapologetic declaration of his identity and his refusal to relinquish control to his technology, to his government. It underscores Tony's rebellious nature, his unwavering belief in his own judgment, and his continued blurring of the lines between himself and his armored alter ego. The delivery, imbued with Tony's signature wit and arrogance, makes it, like a standout moment of dialogue, I would say. And then when it comes to the best action scene, the team up fight between Iron Man, War Machine, and the Hammer drones at Stark's Expo, it's a clear highlight. So this extended sequence showcases the combined firepower and tactical abilities of Tony and Roddy as they battle the overwhelming swarm of Hammer's malfunctioning creations now under Whiplash's control. The dynamic between the two armored heroes, their synchronized maneuvers, and the sheer scale of destruction create a thrilling and, visually impressive spectacle. It's a high octane battle that effectively utilizes the unique weaponry and capabilities of both my Iron Man and War Machine, providing a satisfying payoff to the escalating conflict. Also, loved seeing Cheadle in. Cheadle would then play a huge role in every, Captain America Civil War and Age of Ultron and every kind of Avengers going forward. He was awesome. So, no, this was great. War Machine was awesome. Dude, also, the big thing of this was Mickey Rourke took this role so seriously. He spent time in a Russian prison. So, commitment to character, right? I loved how, there was a couple really good scenes. So, Iron Man 2, as far as like a sequel goes, it's not surpassing the original, but it was still pretty good. I would think. It was okay. It
You
wasn't
know
bad.
what?
Iron Man 3
I
was not good.
I I don't know if I agree with that, but I don't think Iron Man 3 is as bad as people make it out to be. Iron Man 2 was huge, too, man. Like it introduced ScarJo. That's the first we saw of Black Widow. Great line in that is when Happy Hogan's like, "Oh yeah, let me show you how to spar a little bit," and she just whips
Yeah.
his ass in the ring, and Tony Stark's like, "I'll take one of those." Um, and my only other had I been defending this movie, my best action sequence would have been the 5 seconds we see the Sam Rockwell do the Sam Rockwell dance when he's coming out on stage as Justin Hammer. When he does those crazy feet. God damn it. I love when Sam Rockwell does those crazy feet. It's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing in that whole movie. Justin Hammer, cocky motherfucker, coming out with those Sam Rockwell crazy feet dance moves. Uh, Iron Man 2 takes a little bit of flack, but it was I think still really important to the series moving forward. And we forget it was the first sequel they ever did. This is phase one. This
True.
is before the Avengers. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
it just shows how pivotal the character of Iron Man is to this whole saga.
It's he is the anchor. He is the anchor for the Infinity Saga, and it's
Completely.
very clear. Also, this is the second Iron Man that I've done, and I Am Iron Man is the top line in both movies, and I can't really think of an argument.
No, it's not. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So, all right, Brent. Well, that does it for round one. You ready to move on to round two?
Let's see the results.
All right, round two, fight. All right, so here we go. Round two, we're going to ask our overlord Gemini. So I reached out to them and said, hey, Gemini, you mind telling me what movie you think is better, Avengers or Iron Man 2? And here's what Gemini had to say. They said, this is a great question that gets to the heart of the MCU's evolution. Both the Avengers and Iron Man 2 are important films in the franchise, but they serve different purposes and have different strengths. Gemini then says, if I had to choose which movie I think is better overall, I'd probably lean towards The Avengers. And here's why: narrative cohesion and impact. The Avengers was the groundbreaking culmination of the MCU's Phase 1. It successfully brought together multiple established heroes in a single cohesive narrative with high stakes and satisfying team dynamics. While the Russo brothers, who directed later MCU films, have acknowledged the challenges of completely cohesive narrative across the entire MCU, the Avengers itself has a strong internal narrative drive and impact. Iron Man 2, while expanding Tony Stark's story and introducing key elements like Black Widow and War Machine, feels like more of a stepping stone into the larger universe. And then scale and stakes. The Avengers represented a threat of unprecedented scale with the Chitauri invasion, requiring the heroes to truly come together to save the world. This sense of epic stakes elevates the film beyond a solo hero story. And then character dynamics. The interplay between the different Avengers, their conflicts, their eventual teamwork, and their individual personalities clashing is a major highlight of the film, and something Iron Man 2, being primarily focused on Tony, doesn't explore to the same extent. It's true. Critical and commercial success. While Iron Man 2 was successful, The Avengers was a massive critical and commercial phenomenon that set a new standard for superhero team up movies. Very true. So, but Iron Man 2, like you're saying, Byrne, it is important for a couple of reasons. Character development. It delves deeper into Tony Stark's vulnerabilities and his struggles with his identity and morality. And then it introduces key characters. It formally introduced Black Widow and War Machine as more prominent figure, and then they would become crucial members of the Avengers, as we know. Ultimately, while Iron Man 2 is a solid and entertaining film, The Avengers represents a more significant achievement in terms of narrative ambition, character interaction, and overall impact on the MCU and the superhero genre. So there you go.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
moving
That
on. Yeah,
was pretty
yeah.
fair. I think that was a pretty fair breakdown from Gemini, actually.
I agree. So, and I think we kind of had this one pegged. I think we've been right in all but maybe one or two of the first round.
Right.
So, right, we kind of saw the Avengers was so good. That one scene where like Hulk is like when Cap is like, Dr. Banner, you're holding, like he points out that he's
Yeah,
holding
you're
the
holding the
saber,
scepter.
and then Banner's like, not today, not today. Like you're not gonna do it today. Nice try. Dude. But then also the one scene, and this is when I was like, Josh Whedon fucking gets it. When Hulk is bearing down on Thor in the helicarrier, right?
Hmm.
He's bearing down, and you just see Thor holding the fucking hand out for the whammer, holding it out for the fucking whammer, and then at the last second, the whammer comes, and then fucking uppercuts.
Chunks
Oh,
him. Chunks him good.
dude. And then when Hulk tries to pick up the hammer and he's like ripping up, oh my god, so good, so good,
Really, really good. Really, really good. I'm
strong
glad we got to.
stuff.
It's funny too when we were doing the director's cut. Well, for whatever reason, we didn't mention that we also saw The Dark Knight together on a Saturday
Yeah.
morning at the Franklin
Yeah.
Institute IMAX.
I remember I didn't sleep the night before and just hammered Bud Lights.
Yep.
You know, we went to the theater and then we
We
went
went
to
to like a
this,
10 a.m. show. And then we went
yeah,
to where did we
the
go after
Belgium
that?
Cafe, I think it was called.
Yep. Belgian Cafe. Yep.
I remember we went there and I ordered a Bud Light, and I remember
Yeah.
Jersey Julie was like, "You're ordering a Bud Light in the Belgian Cafe." I was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm ordering the number one beer in the fucking world. Sorry, I guess I'll get a fucking Hefeweizen.
At that
Fuck
point, we were,
off."
in fact, not only were we banged up for that because we were up all night the night before, but I believe we saw the Avengers movie the Sunday or Monday of Memorial Day weekend, and we had
Yeah,
gotten after it pretty hard the night before that, back
yeah,
in our younger
yeah,
days.
yeah, man. Back when we could go all night. Now I
Oof,
cannot. Dude, I
no,
can't even go till 7 sometimes.
you
And I
don't
don't
have
even
to anymore.
drink.
You don't have
You and
to
me,
anymore.
you and me are both aren't on the sauce anymore.
No, no,
I
and we're still
wonder
tired
why.
as shit.
So, Burn, that does it for our first matchup tonight, the Avengers versus Iron Man 2. So let's keep it moving to our second one. So, for the second matchup tonight, we got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which is a sleeper sequel, really good, against Avengers Age of Ultron, which, you know. So, but, Burn, I cannot stress to you how much I would love to get into round one. I would love to, but I can't. And you know why?
I have an idea, man.
Well, tell me.
We haven't done the we call it the tale of the tape.
Very good. Here we go. All right, so let's get ready for an intergalactic team up versus an AI apocalypse. Here's the tale of the tape for the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Avengers Age of Ultron. So here we go. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, release date May 5th, 2017. Man, they love May release dates.
They really
Jesus.
do. Uh,
Avengers Age of Ultron, May 1st, 2015. Also, isn't Thunderbolts coming out next week?
May 2nd, 2025.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
10 years later, Thunderbolts, then Age of Ultron. All right, either way. And then runtime Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, we're looking at 2 hours and 16 minutes. And then Age of Ultron, we're looking at 2 hours, 21 minutes. So, yep, following that formula.
Mm-hmm.
Film budget, $200 million for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, $250 million for Age of Ultron. And then opening weekend box office gross. We do Age of Ultron opening weekend box office gross 191.3 million. Shoo. And then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 opening weekend box office gross 146.5 million. And then the worldwide box office gross. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 worldwide box office gross 863.8 million. Really good showing for a sequel in a regular theme, right, like a regular storyline, you know.
Sure.
And then Age of Avengers: Age of Ultron worldwide box office gross 1.405 billion, daddy. Another Billy.
Another
Getting
Billy.
that Billy train. I would have to think all the Avengers movies hit a billion.
If the first one did and the second one did, there ain't no way that Infinity War and Endgame didn't. Right?
Very true. And then directors. Talk about two hot directors coming out. Like this was their time. James Gunn obviously directed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and then Avengers Age of Ultron was Joss Whedon. So, I mean, but both superstar directors really going after it. Really good stuff. So, Brian, that does it for the tale of the tape. Are you ready to head into round one?
Can't wait, Maddie.
All right, round one. Fight! All right, Byrne, let's delve into the chaotic world of Avengers Age of Ultron. So, let's talk about it. One of the most impactful and arguably best scenes in Avengers Age of Ultron is the vision sequence experienced by the Avengers after Scarlet Witch manipulates their minds. That's right. This series of individual nightmares and fears provides deep insight into the character's inner turmoils and motivations. Tell me about it. From Tony Stark's apocalyptic vision of his failure to Steve Rogers' longing for a life he never had, and Thor's glimpse of Asgard's destruction. Asgard! These moments are crucial for character development and foreshadow future conflicts within the MCU. This scene is emotionally resonant and adds a layer of psychological depth to the superhero action, making it a standout moment of introspection amidst the chaos. As for the best line, a powerful and often quoted one is Ultron's chilling declaration, "There are no strings on me." Oh, that was so good. This line, delivered with menacing artificial intelligence, encapsulates Ultron's desire for independence and his rejection of his creator, Tony Stark. It signifies his emergence as a truly autonomous and dangerous threat, highlighting his twisted logic and his determination to reshape the world according to his own destructive vision. The line is both iconic and serves as a central thematic statement for the film. So good. So good.
And
Right?
James Spader delivering it, incredible.
Yeah. Oh, Spader was awesome.
Spader's so
Absolutely
good.
awesome. Yep. And then when it comes to the best action sequence, dude, it's Hulk versus the Hulkbuster, Daddy. That fight in the city
Mm-hmm.
is the clear
Mm-hmm.
highlight. This extended sequence is a visually spectacular and incredibly destructive clash between the two powerhouses. The sheer scale of the battle, with Iron Man deploying his massive Hulkbuster armor to subdue the rampaging Hulk under Scarlet Witch's influence, is thrilling. The choreography is dynamic, and the use of the environment as a battleground with buildings being demolished and debris flying everywhere creates a truly epic and memorable superhero brawl that showcases the immense power and potential for destruction within the Avengers ranks. Dude, this one had a lot of great stuff that's set up for like storylines later on. You know, obviously it's set up for Ragnarok big time, set up for Civil War big time. So
Mm-hmm.
really had like as much as there was some stuff in the MCU. Also, like I don't know why, and I never got like, did they have to kill off Quicksilver? You know, like I just never got it. You know, I mean,
Did
spoiler,
Yeah,
but
didn't make a lot of sense when they I guess they needed some type of heroic sacrifice,
yeah,
and they saw what the Fox company was doing with the Quicksilver character, which was also really cool at the time in those X-Men movies,
yeah,
and just thought maybe we can get rid of him.
dude. I mean,
I,
talk about. I mean, I don't want to caveat this, but that Quicksilver scene from Days of Future Past, one
it's
of the best
incredible.
scenes.
It's
Absolutely
incredible.
incredible.
The
Sorry.
time in the bottle scene in the
Yeah,
kitchen. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
incredible.
So sorry. Continue.
No, I was saying like I think that's maybe why they did it. I love parts of this movie, especially that Hulkbuster scene for like the comic accurate stuff of like Tony
Yeah,
Stark realizes that the responsible thing to do is to buy that building. Like he buys that building in a second right before Hulk smashes him through the entire thing and it's destroyed. Just wouldn't be
yeah,
fair. Just wouldn't be fair to go out there and destroy a whole thing. And also, that's the fight that leads to the Sokovia Accords, pretty much.
yeah,
That is the
yeah.
huge protagonist of Infinity War. So, yeah, a lot of,
Civil War.
or Civil War, sorry. Yeah. So, a lot of super important stuff happens in
Yeah,
this movie.
they do a lot, and also, don't you get some vibranium in this one?
Yeah, you get vibranium in this one because that's what
And
she's
you get
this.
Claw,
You get your first claw. You
Andy
get
Serkis.
vision. You get your first vision. You
Yeah,
get vision picking up the hammer. Like, all right, guys, come
yeah,
on, let's go. You get
dude.
that
Yeah,
great scene of Stan Lee's cameo as an old army vet getting drunk with them in Tony Stark's apartment. Everybody trying to pick up the hammer. Like, there's a
yeah.
lot of great moments. And you get
That
Scarlet
and
Witch, which is huge going forward.
huge. Also, the alluded to like when Cap almost picks up the hammer, right? Like that. Everyone's like, okay. And then eventually we would get that in in like the fucking best moment ever.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Just the look
dude.
on Thor's face where it nudges a little bit, and Thor's like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah. I mean, Cap is worthy. If there's anyone worthy, it's fucking Cap. So nice. All right. Well, that was Avengers: Age of Ultron. And what do you got, Daddy?
All right, so I'm going to be representing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the follow up to the surprise smash hit, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, both directed by James Gunn. These
Yeah.
guys are a little bit different in the way they're doing things. We see the Power Stone emerge in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but even as of Volume 2, they have not hooked up with anybody else from the greater Marvel universe. It's still just a Guardians of the Galaxy story. They've had no other cosmic interactions. They're kind of doing their own thing. They get away from the Power Stones a little bit. We have great introduction of Kurt Russell as Ego, which is
Yeah.
perfect.
You got
De-aged Kurt
Stallone.
Russell early on in his leather jacket is just so dreamy. You got Stallone. You got Ving Rhames. That Ravager crew at the end, you got Stallone, you got Ving Rhames, you got Miley
Yeah.
Cyrus doing the voice of the robot. It's chock full of cameos. It's funny you were just talking about Age of Ultron because a strong contender of that one could have been this opening scene of the movie for action scene, um, or for best scene rather, when they're charging through the woods. You get to see each
Yeah.
Avenger doing their thing. Cap's on the motorcycle, he's jumping stuff. Hulk's
And you
punching
got the did Cap
tanks.
just say language?
Exactly. You got
Yeah.
it's an incredible scene. I struggled a lot for my scene in this. I will tell you right now, my runner-up for best scene is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the opening scene in that as well. Set to Electric Light Orchestra's Mr. Blue Sky of Baby Groot. Little Baby Groot just dancing
Yeah.
around the platform while all of his fellow
So
Guardians are
good.
getting their tails whipped by that gigantic energy monster.
Yeah.
I'll get back to my favorite scene in a minute. I'm going to go to action scene first. And it's not close for me. Yondu, Rocket, and Groot need to escape from the Ravager stronghold, blow up the ship as they leave. Yondu gets the big fin after a lot of hilarity of sending Groot to get things. He keeps
Uh-huh.
coming back with the wrong thing. He's just a little baby, Matt. He's just a little baby tree. Yondu gets the big fin. The whistle comes out. Rocket gets a gun. Come a little bit closer by Jay and the Americans hits the speaker, and they dog walk the entire Ravager crew as they're walking through the ship. The
So
three of
good.
them lay waste to every jerk off in a red leather jacket they could possibly find,
Yeah.
except Taserface, who ends up getting his comeuppance later. My favorite line of the film, and this one wasn't hard at all. Again, it's Yondu as they're scooting away from the planet. There's only enough oxygen masks to keep one of them alive. Yondu looks at Peter Quill and says, "He may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy. He wasn't your daddy." Peter Quill resolved his issues with his mother in the first film. He resolved his issues with his father and his daddy in the second film. And that's why, for me, the best scene in the movie is the very last scene. Cat Stevens, father and son, plays over the Ravager funeral as the Guardians say goodbye to Yondu, and all the other Ravagers show up and realize this guy that we've been giving shit to for
Yeah.
years and years and years
Yeah.
was actually the man that we thought he was.
Yeah.
Guardians 2, another goddamn fucking masterpiece by James Gunn.
It was so good. Dude, also like I mean, it's easy like there's no question best soundtrack for every like the Guardians are one, two, and three are the best
Not, yep,
soundtrack
yep,
in every MCU film.
yep.
Doesn't even come close. They are the best. It is so good and incredible. Just incredible. This second one was so fucking good. When you like at the end, when Yondu, Michael Rooker's performance, unbelievable.
Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
Unbelievable. The
He's got to
like
be the biggest, meanest hard ass while actually having a heart of gold the whole time. And he
the
pulls it
whole
off.
time.
That's so hard to do. That's so
Impossible.
hard to do.
Impossible. Yeah. Yeah. That's Oscar worthy if you ask me. He
I
was
agree.
fucking unbelievable
One of
in
the
that
best
film.
performances in the entire MCU is Michael
Also, you
Rooker in
get
Guardians 2.
also you get more God, what's the blue girl? Taryn or Karen, Taryn,
Oh,
Karen.
Karen Gilliam. You get
Yeah,
Nebula. You get a little bit more
Nebula.
Nebula.
You get more Nebula, which also then also don't you get they've discovered the isn't the end scene like the after credit scene the Boromir scene where she tells her like she found the map on Boromir? Isn't that in this movie?
I don't think that comes up
Uh,
until I don't remember what the post cred scene was
they
actually.
just threw that in there. It's like, all right, we got to talk about this stone eventually.
Yeah, we have something's going somewhere. I think is the general idea. Uh,
Yeah,
but yeah, Guardians 2. I mean, Guardians 1 was such a dick slapper, and Guardians 3 is such a perfect ending. I think Guardians 2 gets overlooked, but it's still in. I mean, all three of those movies are in my top 10 MCU, and
yeah,
you're not talking me out of it.
no, and I wouldn't want to, because they're all incredible. So yeah, I dude, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was so good. So you're right, like the opening sequence soundtrack. I want to talk about this though too. Let's talk about star power between the first Guardians of the Galaxy and the second, right? When we
Oh
go into
boy,
the first Guardians of the Galaxy, it's starring Andy from Parks and Rec.
Andy
You got
Dwyer.
the guy who used to be a wrestler who's really strong,
Mm-hmm.
right? You got Bradley Cooper, who at the time what he was doing big stuff, but he wasn't fucking Bradley Cooper. You know,
No,
he
you got
wasn't. Well, I don't know.
O'Hara
Silver Linings had come out, right?
by two for sure.
By two, it had. So
By
he
two,
had
I'm not
then
sure if by one
by
though.
two, he was definitely Bradley fucking Cooper
Mm-hmm.
by two. Because if you look at the first one, biggest star of the movie was Vin Diesel,
Oh
right?
yeah, the most bankable star of that movie for
Yeah,
sure,
Vin
for
Diesel
sure.
was the most bankable star of the first one. In the second one, they're all megastars, all of them.
I mean, you got
You
Kurt
know,
Russell to come in and just be
yeah.
an old handsome bad guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
also,
other
like
Guardians
if
like
you had to pick an actor that would be your dad from the '80s, come on, dude.
it's
Come
Kurt.
on, dude.
Of course, it's Kurt. Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
backdraft, daddy. Backdraft.
He's the best mixture of loving and tough. He's got loving eyes and a tough skin. I mean, come on.
He's just the best. He's the best. So, all right, Bern, are you good?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome. Let's move on to round two. Round two, fight! All right, Daddy, here we go. Here we go. Heading into the final show. All right, so we're in round two. I reached out to our overlord, Gemini, let him know. Said, hey, you got to tell us what movie's better Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 or Avengers Age of Ultron. So,
Maddie, can I
this
say I would not be shocked if there was an upset here?
I wouldn't be either.
I would
So,
disagree, but I wouldn't be shocked.
no. They said this is a really interesting comparison as both Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Avengers Age of Ultron are a significant team up movies within the MCU, but they have very different tones and focuses. They said if I had to choose what movie they think is better overall, it would lean slightly towards Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Okay.
And
Okay.
here's the
No
reasoning
upset.
why. Emotional depth and character development. Volume 2 delves deeper into the emotional backstories and relationships of its core characters, particularly the complex father and son dynamic between Peter, Quill, and Ego, and the sisterly bond between Gamora and Nebula. The film explores themes of family, belonging, and self acceptance with more nuance. And then unique tone and style. James Gunn's distinct comedic and musical style is even more pronounced in Volume 2, giving it a unique and often hilarious feel that sets apart within the MCU. The soundtrack is also exceptionally well integrated into the narrative. Smaller, more focused story is while Age of Ultron deals with a threatening event, world-threatening event, and a large ensemble cast. Volume 2 for Guardians of the Galaxy has a more personal and focused story centered around the Guardians' internal dynamics and Quill's parentage. This allows for more intimate character moments. That is very true. They said, however, Age of Ultron does have its strengths high stakes and epic scale. Age of Ultron represents a significant threat to the entire world and features large scale action sequences with the entire Avengers team. It's a crucial stepping stone in the overarching MCU narrative as well. And then introduction of key characters. The film introduces key characters like Vision and Future, develops Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. and then exploring team dynamic. The volume 2 focus on Guardians. Age of Ultron explores the tension and challenges of the original Avengers team as they face an internal and external threat. Ultimately, both films are enjoyable and contribute significantly to the MCU. However, I find that a stronger emotional core, unique tone, and deeper character exploration in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 to give it the slight edge for Gemini personally. So there you go. Moving on to the second round, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So both Guardians movies going to round 2. I think we saw that
I
coming.
think that's fair. And you know what? Just to cap a couple things here. Uh, any exchange between Drax and Mantis, we forgot to mention. I forgot to mention Mantis makes her appearance in this one. Any exchange between Drax and Mantis, that exchange about how hideous she is, could absolutely be the best line. That's hysterical. And
It is.
as a Marvel conspiracy theorist, I don't see why that at some point in the near future we can't bring back James Spader as Ultron. Ultron was an ultimate AI personality. You're telling me he didn't tuck
Yeah.
a little part of himself away somewhere, just hiding, waiting to come
Yeah.
back? Ultron's a great villain for the Avengers, and James Spader was perfect. I am leading the campaign. Bring back Spader as Ultron in some way, shape, or
I
form.
mean, there has to be a timeline where Ultron won and now he's running the universe, right?
Maddie, it's not even that there's other universes where Ultron won. All right. Ultron is the Marvel version, Brainiac's the DC version, right? Of this incredible, like, artificial intelligence. You never beat them. You conquer them, but they always stash away something somewhere that's
Yeah.
hidden. They always take a part of
Yeah.
themselves and hide it somewhere and come back later for more. It's how they work in the comics. It's how it should work in these movies. Hashtag more Spader, more better.
Yeah. Yeah. Could not agree more. All right, Vern. So, let's recap. Let's talk. So, moving on to the second round now, we have Avengers Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. They will be meeting Iron Man and then Spider Man Homecoming, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and Doctor Strange. And then also Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, Captain America Civil War, and Black Panther. Golly, this round 2 is gonna
So
be
I think we only have one
box.
more. I think we only have
Yep.
one more left in round one, right?
So next week will be our last round 1 matchup. So we have going next week, we have Captain America the Winter Soldier, the number 6 ranked movie, going against the number 19 ranked Thor 1. And then we have the number 8 ranked Thor Ragnarok going against number 17 ranked Iron Man 3. So 2 Thors next week. I mean, we're going to be Thor.
Buckle up. You jerk off. I love you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're Thor. I can hardly walk. But either way, and then also Captain America Winter Soldier, which I rewatched again recently, and it is so fucking good.
6 is low. I've been
So
saying it all.
good.
6 is low. 6 is low for Winter
Yeah.
Soldier for me.
Dude, I could see Winter Soldier doing some fucking damage in round 2.
Same
If
here.
it makes it there. Right?
Yeah.
So that's,
If it makes
so
if it
that's to
makes
beat
it.
Thor. So that's to beat Thor.
Tune in
But-
next week, guys, for 2 nail biters.
Tune in next week. It'll be the last matchups of round 1. Then we're heading to round 2. So that's been another episode of the Working Perspectives Podcast presents Ask AI. We're in the thick of our MCU Infinity Saga tournament. It's been going incredible. But yeah, in case you're wondering, you can find all our stuff and all our content and all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You also on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast. Join us on Twitter and TikTok at Working P Pod. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And please like and subscribe and keep bringing you this incredible content. Bern, I love you. And you've been great. And I've been great. And this has been great. Thanks. See you.
Thank you.